Hello, this is Thomas, and I am here with John from Longship Armoury. We are here at the Atlanta Blade Show for 2016. I came across the booth, and immediately one of these swords caught my eye. We'll talk about it in a moment. But John, I just want to say hello and thank you for doing an interview. And we'll talk through some of the swords you have here. You are the maker of most of the things that we see behind us here.
Sure. And it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I like to pick this one up and just hold it up for a moment. So you said this is your own design. I wonder if you'd talk a little bit about it.
Well, obviously it's a what they call a longsword, medieval style longsword. Wheel pommel, that's all common. It's got the peen block common. But what's rare about it is the guard. It's kind of a neat guard. It's not your typical ring guard with two rings on it. It's like one ring. Anyway. But this is hammer forged out, and so this is a spring tempered all the way back and peened at the end. There's no welds inside, so it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big sword, and it's a big deal.
Yeah, and this one, it's constructed so very nicely. I'm very much a sword guy, so holding this, I can tell just immediately this is extremely well made. And it's a beautiful blade. A lot of good craftsmanship in this.
Thank you very much. This is a 5160H steel, which I heat treat myself, but I use a lot of different steels as well, like the L6 and the advent of Damascus steel, which, you know, this has Damascus fittings on it as well.
Let's pick that one up and we'll take a look at the next one.
I don't make my own steel, so I can't be bragging, oh, this I made. I didn't make the steel, right? It's called a billet. I buy a billet. It's a bar. It looks like one of them bars over there. And I don't know, can you see the grain there?
Come up and look at the grain.
Zoom in on that grain. That's fun. And you know, and the fittings are Damascus as well. But this is also my design. It's not based on anything historical at all. So, in a way, I'm considered a fantasy sword maker.
Yes, but it's
yeah. To me, they do have a bit of a historical flair.
yeah, it's fantasy, but it is grounded in reality, right? These are all made to be functional. They're made to be very practical in design, and they're just your own unique design, which is awesome. You know, we're not just seeing a replica or a copy of something that's out there, but this is coming out of your own mind.
Yes, sir. And they're all made for serious cutting competition grade. And it's all about the edge geometry. You know, and the distal taper going down, it starts out fat, you know, thick, and it gets thin as it goes down. And V grind, instead of having a what they call an apple seed grind or a grind and then another grind, which is called a secondary bevel, I like to make them V, you know what I mean? And they tend to cut better that way.
Yeah, and it also, I mean, there is no apparent bevel, right, when you do that. It just goes down to a nice, really sharp edge.
Yeah, I gotta do it by hand, you know, like with blocks and stuff, so it's a pain in the...
Yeah. Again, these are really, really beautiful items. You also have a friend here, a cohort, someone who also makes weapons, who's not able to be on the video, but he's also got some amazing swords over here, which we'll get some footage of in a bit. This is just amazing work. This booth is actually a really wonderful surprise. Take a look at this one.
This is the type of thing that is basically my trademark. The silly etchings going down the blade, you know. But this could be like a bunch of naked ladies or something, you know. I could etch anything on, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, see, I don't know if you want to see that, but that's done with ferric chloride, and photochemically reactive resist goes on there, and then I take my artwork and we make a clear acetate film positive out of it, and I put it on there and I expose it to light and then etch it with ferric chloride. But you know, it's got the fancy grip, you know. It's a Gladius, but it's big. It's historically accurate? No, it's not.
again, this is all just such beautiful work, and I really think it's quite amazing stuff.
I make the occasional knife, like one a year, and this is the one I made for the show. So it's a 1095 fine grain steel with the water quench. And what I do when I do a Hammond, I don't do what they do nowadays. I do the traditional method of water. I use the clay, and I quench it in water in a tank sideways. And that's how you get this curvature right here.
Right. Okay.
It starts out straight, and it gets a natural curve, but I can show you that. Also, something like this. This is obviously based on a katana, based on a Japanese katana, but as you can see, it looks like kind of like junk. But that's the idea. This is a user sword, and that Hammond is water quenched. That's the real deal. And so this is the real deal right here. And guess what? It's peened on the end, as opposed to the traditional Japanese method of a pin going through the tang. It's not made to be taken apart.
Right. And so you have, I mean, obviously a very large variety, a very diverse selection of swords and weapons.
You got your two-handed Zweihander here. That's my own design. Kind of based off of Zweihander, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think that's the thing that really jumps out to me is that, again, all of these are your design. You're really putting a lot into this, more than just copying what someone else has done. You're taking an approach that was taken many hundreds of years ago, in that you're not going off of some template. You are building your own thing, and these pieces are absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, all in their own right. So thank you.
That. On this one, I just wanted to show you. This little design here, that's not Damascus. That's a lacquer with a brush. I get to have fun, now and then. And so my new line has this Johnny Has Fun syndrome thing going on. But I want to say that I started off John Lundemo Odin Blades at Odin Blades.
Okay.
And then I went on the internet, and I was crying about how lousy my website looked, and I met this guy James Fang, and he joined up with me, and we created Longship Armoury together. And he doesn't make swords, but without him, I would not be around, because I'm computer illiterate, and in this day and age, you can't be Johnny walking around with no computer. So he's helped a lot, and together we go through, what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow, and in growing, we need to expand. So we asked our friend here, Casey Lund, if he would like to, come aboard, and so he said, yeah. Would you like to come up, Casey?
All right, hello, Casey.
Good,
How are
to see
you?
man.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
All right, take over, man.
Very well.
All right.
Would you like to talk a little bit about your blades that you have here?
Yeah, I stick mostly right now. I do a lot of traditional European swords. I've handled quite a few originals. Like this is something you'd see around the 11th century. This type pommel. I don't base any. I base them on particular types, but they're not copies of originals.
Right, so unique designs based on a historical model, but not necessarily a historical recreation.
Correct. This sword feels like what they felt like. It's 2 pounds, 2 ounces. It's nowhere near as heavy as people think. Very wieldable. Heat treatment is what I like to focus on. This is a pattern welded blade. So
it's a very beautiful pattern welding, I might add.
Thank you. It's 01 L6 tool steels. And then heat treatment, I use high and low temperature molten salts. Everything I make is made to be used. The original construction methods of using a peen on the tang, everything's locked in. It's a leather grip, wood underneath, wood and cord bound. But that's the era I like to stick with. I do work with some other stuff from different cultures, but primarily European swords.
Well, and I'm looking at all the different designs you have over here, and it all still applies. You guys have this amazing design aesthetic. You're building these things very, very accurately, very good construction, and I love that. Again, it's still your own unique take on it. That just like it was for John, you're taking what's in your mind and you're putting it in practical, real steel, and it just looks absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous craftsmanship, beautiful artistry. And the best part is it's still functional and it's still made properly.
That's my biggest thing has been I want swords that people are going to be able to use. Relatively expensive pieces, but they're not so highly priced that people can't afford them if they really want them and use them. So I'd like to see my stuff get used.
Awesome. Casey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is Longship Armoury. This is their vast array of really quite amazing swords. They do an amazing job. So until next time, stay sharp.
What's up? What's up, man?